Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies and the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some releases that are supernatural and a couple that are not supernatural, but they are horror and they do sound pretty cool. So I think I have 6 books in total to share with you today. I put a poll out and asked you guys if you would like me to go back to previous release videos and talk about what flopped and what became something that you need to put in your TBR right now. And I'm definitely going to be doing those as well. So I'll probably have one of these releases in the beginning of the month and then the follow-up in the end of the month. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably seen my post about this, but it was just kind of a fun thing and a lot of people seem to like it. So I was proposing that we call ourselves Tomb Maggots. Like T-O-M-E maggots, because tomb is a book, but it's also a tomb in a graveyard, and then maggots are gross worms that live in dead bodies. So a tomb maggot would be something like a bookworm, but kind of just more gross and horror related.
Tomb maggots, I like it.
Well, I'm glad I have your approval.
Are you sure you didn't get that idea from me?
No, it was not your idea, it was my idea. On May 3rd, Hidden Pictures by Jason Rakulak, I hope I said that right, comes out. This is a supernatural horror. It's really ghosty, it's really spooky. I'm really into this synopsis. This is a story about Mallory, who has just gotten out of rehab and has landed a live-in job as a babysitter for a 5-year-old boy named Ted. And Ted is pretty cool. He's like really sweet and they get along very well. And Ted is also a artistic soul. He likes to draw and it's one of his favorite things to do, and his drawing books are all filled up with animals and balloons and things like that. But there comes this point in time where Ted's drawings begin to change, and they change in narrative. So now we see Ted drawing these pictures of a man dragging a woman's body into a forest. And as more time goes on, Ted's drawing ability becomes extremely evolved. He's gone from little stick figures to lifelike portraiture. Mallory begins to suspect that there's something supernatural at work here, and that whatever it is, it's not living and it's influencing Ted, and Ted is drawing this horrible story out. So obviously this is really fun because this is like the whole like creepy kid kind of trope, you know, which is, I don't know, it's tropey, but it's so fun. I always like figuring out like what are they in tune with? What is it, you know? So just the mystery of all of that, it sounds like it's going to be really fun. The cover does not look like it's very spooky at all. It doesn't have any real horror vibes. It looks more like maybe like a crime thriller, possibly. But I'm hoping in the story itself it really does focus on Ted and like what he's seeing or how he's learning this information and whatever, because it sounds really awesome, and I hope there's just a lot of that in the book because obviously that would be so fun. Your Mind is a Terrible Thing by Haley Piper comes out on May 7th. You guys know that I loved The Worm and His Kings. Like, oh, such a good book. Like, I don't even like cosmic horror, but the way that Haley writes the story, it's just, oh my god, it was so engrossing. So I'm expecting that type of, you know, heart-wrenching, introspective, interesting, thought-provoking kind of thing here too. So this is so cool. This one's not supernatural, but it's like a sci-fi, psychological maybe, horror, and it sounds really good. This is about a communications specialist who is on board this starship called the MG Yellow Jacket. And everything is fine until Alto wakes up and realizes that the crew has vanished, gone, poof. But they're not alone. There's something in the ship, something sinister, something violent, something destructive, something waiting. But it also has this very special ability that it can get into your mind. Alto's objective now is to get from where they are at the moment to the bridge so that they can access the comms and open up communication. But getting from A to B is going to be very, very difficult, because not only is this presence, this creature, this alien, whatever it is that's on the ship, there's also other nightmares that are going to be stalling Alto on their way. The cover artwork is definitely a little funny to me. It's like a big brain. It looks like it has eyes, you know, and it's just kind of like,
where do you think you're going?
The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas is released on May 10th. This is a gothic supernatural, and Goodreads described this as Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca, and this takes place in the aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence. And the main character is Beatrice. She has lost her home and has been destroyed. She's lost her father, so she's essentially sort of all alone and kind of penniless. She ends up agreeing to marry this man, Don Rodolfo Solozano, to secure her own future. She really wants to get her old life back. This is kind of like one of her goals. But Rodolfo's hacienda, which is the Hacienda San Isidro, it's not the cozy, warm place that she thought it was going to be. It's filled with rumors about Rodolfo's first wife. It has people who seem to have some odd behavior, and there are strange symbols above the doorways. At a certain point, Beatrice feels isolated enough that she has to go and seek help, and she meets this young priest whose name is Padre Andres, and she gets him to listen to her and to possibly help her, because the priest is not only a priest, he's also a practicer of witchcraft, and also ends up having a pretty massive forbidden crush on Beatrice. Gothic through and through. We have a forbidden kind of romance and attraction. We have a husband with a secret, houses with secrets, and a young woman who's sort of caught in between, trying to figure out the truth. I feel like this is going to be pretty steamy, and I feel like, you know, the priest and Beatrice are probably going to get along pretty well at some point. All These Subtle Deceits by C.S. Humble. This also comes out on May 10th. This is a supernatural occult horror. The story is about a woman named Lauren Saunders who has moved to Colorado to escape a toxic relationship, and this is her chance to start over, to be safe, to live life, to just move on. But as we know, this is a horror book, so that's not what's gonna happen. She ends up actually suffering from these episodes that feel like supernatural attacks. They are extremely traumatizing to her. She reaches out to I have to read the line for this, a professional spiritual intercessor and occult consultant, William Daniels. Very long title. It's not all gonna fit on the business card, I don't think. Anyway, she reaches out to him, she explains what's going on, and he decides to help her. And in helping her, they both together are going to have to descend into the occult labyrinth of dark forces and oppressive spirits. So this synopsis is like a little vague for me. Like I don't really know exactly like what the story is about, but I do like the markers that are there, which is like there's somebody who is being affected by the supernatural, they seek out a professional, and they're going to figure it out together. Perfect. I really like this cover. It is very reminiscent of, if you've ever gone to a bookstore and gone into the esoteric or the occult section, you probably found a lot of books that had covers like this. You know, they would be talking about high magic, they'd be talking about the Goetia, they'd be talking about all kinds of different things, but they usually looked like this, and it was always very, very pleasing to the eye, so I totally gravitate to this. Oh right, yeah, so I said this is a supernatural occult horror. The description from the website was black magic, fantasy, and thriller, which is kind of cool. Into it. This book is also from a press called Perpetual Publishing. When I was doing my research, I was so bummed out because they have some kind of membership subscription service that you can get, but they cut it off on February 14th, so too late. But if you subscribe to their membership, you get every single one of their printed books for the year. And I was like, oh no, I missed out. But maybe next year. Hide by Kirsten White comes out on May 24th. This is a dark supernatural thriller. At first when I read it,
I thought, oh, I think it might be a slasher.
which for me, you know, is sort of like certain death. I'm not really that interested into it, but this is a pure supernatural story, and let me tell you what it's about. It's so fun! So this is a story about an amusement park that puts out this challenge that says 14 people can compete to hide in our park wherever they like for 7 days. They have to do it for 7 days. And if you don't get caught, you will win a huge cash prize. Obviously, this sounds like a lot of fun, so I don't think it was very hard for them to find anyone willing to, you know, be a competitor in this. But there is a competitor named Mac, and Mac believes that she can win. And the reason why she thinks that she can win is because she is really, really, really good at hiding. And this talent of hers is the reason why she's alive and her family is not. But as the challenge is progressing, Mac begins to observe that people are disappearing one by one. And there's something really effed up about this whole entire challenge. And the only way that they might get out of this alive is if the remaining competitors work together. This sounds like a lot of action. Like you're gonna be running and hiding and running and hiding all over the place. So I hope that the action will be written in a way that makes it, you know, exciting and not just kind of like tedious, you know, because I feel like it's just going to be a lot of that. Also too, I'm expecting a lot of like suspense because obviously you're going to be hiding somewhere and someone's going to be coming and whatever. And then obviously there's this backstory to Mac that we will find out, I assume, in the book. So I'm really into this. This is like Halloween candy. Just give it to me.
I'm gonna tell you about the 2 books I like. Yeah, they're both for June. You're welcome. Little Bird by Tiffany Moret, coming out June 7th. Josie is a recluse who drinks a lot of vodka to forget the pain of her divorce and the loss of her father. One day, a shrub appears in her yard and begins to take over. It builds a throne where a talking skeleton sits. Its name is Scully. Really? How unoriginal. Scully begins to try and pull Josie out of her depression. But there's a time limit on how long Scully can help. I like this because there's a skeleton in it, obviously. With a throne, will the human listen to Scully? Probably not, but maybe that's the plan. From Below by Darcy Coates, June 7th. Well, this is another ocean horror. Like the deep, the SS Arcadia vanished 60 years ago, but has been discovered, and a team dives down to the wreckage to find out why it sank all those years ago. But the Arcadia is hungry and full of horror. It seems very cozy to me. What will this dive team find? I wonder, what do ghosts underwater look like? Ghosts can be pretty clingy though, but I like Darcy and I want to read this.
So these were the releases for May and June that caught my eye. I hope that you found something here that you like, that's something interesting here for you. If you liked this video, please like and comment down below. And if you'd like more videos from me, please hit subscribe. Please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.